here at the newly renovated Syracuse football wing, Scott Shafer addressed the media for the first time after being announced the head coach of the Orange. And Bill, you saw from Shafer, he came out really fiery. He was just so excited to be now taking over for Doug Marrone.
And I think that's the persona he's going to have during his entire time as the head coach here at Syracuse. Players talked about that when he was the defensive coordinator, he was really one of the biggest motivators on the team. He talked about putting out a hard-nosed team for what he called a hard-nosed city here in Syracuse, saying things like how he's looking forward to locking opponents into the dome and keeping them locked in for 60 minutes and storming the ACC to move up the ranks and surprise people. Just a really excited coach who talked about the pillars he wants to build this program on: integrity, commitment, excellence, and teamwork. He said moving forward, he sees that as how to build this team forward. But no matter what, he's going to be a motivator.
Oh, I mean, everybody in the room could just feel that energy. I think everybody out there.
I want to get my helmet and go play right now.
I was going to say, everybody was ready to go out there and put on the Syracuse jersey, but even though that fiery energy is there are still a lot of questions to be answered, a lot of challenges for Coach Shafer. And what do you see some of those being?
Well, he ranked them 1, 2, and 3. Number 1, he said the current players. He meets with them on Sunday. He just wants to keep them comfortable with where he's going moving forward and get them to stay here at Syracuse and be ready to go for next season and the move to the ACC. Number 2, the future players, the recruits. Signing day is just a couple weeks away. He's got to make sure he keeps them on board because it's tough when you're used to expecting to come play for one coach and a new coach takes over.
And Coach Shafer even said that sometimes you just don't know who's going to show up until that day comes.
Yeah, until you get that letter, it's never a done deal. And then number 3 is the coaching staff. And so for Coach Shafer, there's still a lot of work to do there. He was able to get Chuck Below to join the team as the defensive coordinator. He was the defensive coordinator at UCLA about 3 years ago. He spent the last 2 years with the Cleveland Browns as a defensive assistant. And then the offensive coordinator position is open. He said that he's made a lot of progress, but he couldn't really disclose any names yet. But it's going to be someone outside of the program. And then how about the rest of the coaches for this Syracuse team, which you're not sure about? He mentioned that he can't really say much yet. He just hopes that for his current staff, the best things for them and their family moving forward happen. So some of them might be back, some of them might not be.
Still a lot of questions to be answered, but you have the defensive coordinator position already filled. But moving forward, you heard Coach Shafer talk a lot about the community and how even though he didn't go to Syracuse, being here for the past 4 years, he feels that sense of team, that pride, and you could really hear that today. He has that sense of Syracuse Orange kind of in his blood right now.
Well, he was really emotional today, and when he said that was maybe the most emotional that he was throughout the press conference. He talked about how much his family loves it here in the Syracuse area. He talked about how the city here in Syracuse is similar to the towns in Ohio where he grew up. He went to school in Ohio as well at Baldwin-Wallace College. So he loves this area. He envisions, he said, a dome that'll be shaking and rocking during Syracuse football games. He wants to get this community involved, and I think today he really spoke to the members of this community.
He really talked a lot about, too, how he wanted the student body to be that 12th man for the Orange out there and how they were going to come out firing next season and do a lot better in the ACC than a lot of people envision this Syracuse team. So a lot today to talk about with Coach Shafer addressing the media for the first time. But keep it here, as always, at sportsblock.citrustv.net for all of your Syracuse football coverage and SU athletics.